Why hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shibo. Today is Sunday, September 15th, 2024. Do I sound okay? Am I a little bit... I should be a little bit louder. I hope. Just a little bit, a few decibels louder. Hopefully not problematic levels. I mean, I am seeing... I'm looking down at my mixer, my USB mixer, and I see it occasionally. It occasionally gives me a little green light indicating clipping. So I'll move a dial down slightly. If I talk too loudly, it'll be clipped from the microphone's end. But I'm trying to make it so that the microphone end isn't clipping, but then that gets boosted in software. Basically, I'm trying to make it so that I'm not clipping through the microphone itself, and yet you can still actually hear me. Because for whatever reason, the actual output from this microphone ends up being really low volume. And if you try to put it high, it clips to hell and back. It's like, really? Really, really? Anyway, hello, and a welcome. I attempted to record Satisfactory the other day before yesterday. And I used XSplit, my streaming software, for this purpose. As it turns out, I had it set to the ultra-high quality standard, which means that the first video's file size ended up being over 50 gigs. And it had issues. It had issues when I went to edit that video. There were missing frames, and there were audio problems in it. There were sections of the audio that were like blown out entirely. There was like segments where just suddenly the volume just skyrocketed for like a couple of minutes and then went back to normal. It was just like a period of like super blown out audio. I'm like, huh? What? So I hope that doesn't happen during the live streams. That would not be good. That would not be good at all. Of course, the streaming video quality is very, very different from the recording video quality. I hate the implementation of local recording in XSplit. I hate what they've done with this. You can set quality to these qualitative values of standard, high, very high, and ultra high without it actually telling you what any of that shit actually means. And what it means is ridiculous levels of bitrate. I want to be able to set the actual bitrate on the recorded video the same way that I can do that for the stream quality, but it does not allow you to. Like, what the fuck, XSplit? Get your shit together. This is not okay. I can actually define these values using OBS, but that got me into why I'm slightly late today, because, yeah, XSplit shit its pants on me. It did not want to behave, because I opened... The other day, I opened XSplit, and opened OBS after having XSplit open. Even at, like, I tried to have both programs open at the same time. And that screwed things up, apparently. That completely screwed things up, apparently. I think it has to do with this new webcam. It does not behave all that well, frankly, with programs on the machine. I don't think I would get this this particular webcam again. This Razer, whatever, Pro, Kios. Yeah, I don't think I would get it again. Its firmware is utter garbage. It does not behave properly. In fact, lately it has been non-responsive when I open my streaming software and I have to unplug it, and plug it back in to USB. It doesn't just work when I open XSplit for the first time. I don't know what they did to it in the past week, but yeah, it's been happening. It's not been nice. But anyway, so I had recorded about 2.5 hours ish of footage of Satisfactory 1.0, and all of that went down the drain because I was not going to deal with editing out or having periods of no frames in my video, plus audio issues. I wasn't going to have that. No. I'm sure that a lot of that would have gone away had I been actually recording on standard, but I wasn't about to go through the first 2.5 hours of Satisfactory again to try to get a recording of it. So I'm not going to do that. And so there won't be a pre-recorded series of Satisfactory. And I have since played more of the game and experienced more of the dialogue of the game, of the story of the game, and you know, I hate the game. After playing it a bit, my fundamental opinion of Satisfactory is I simply hate the game. I do not enjoy the experience. I am still trying to play the game without any dialogue and narrative elements to try to experience the later phases of the game, and like beyond the early game, but it's really hard, it's really slow, it's really boring, and it's really tedious. And the story would ideally have allowed me to, you know, push through sense of tedium and boringness of the build mechanics in the game, but without that, it's hard. It's really hard to push through that. And there is no possible way I would be able to record an experience that would be enjoyable to watch if I try to force myself to play this game in any way, shape, or form for content. So, yeah, there will be no Satisfactory content on this channel going forward. None at all. Because they completely screwed up 1.0 release. They completely screwed up the story. That was the whole point of 1.0. They turned the narrator into a self-insert, petty, unprofessional pain in the ass that goes out of its way to completely berate the player constantly, and I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy having that, experiencing that. So, and I don't enjoy the build mechanics enough to really want to play without dialogue either. So it's like, yeah, we're not making content of it. I'm not about to praise a game that goes out of its way to call players idiots for making comments to the developers, asking questions. I'm not about to go out of my way to call a game good that goes out of its way to call players inefficient because they don't really want to build blueprints within the space limitations that they defined in a game that has effectively infinite build volume. rather than, give us the ability to copy and paste things that we've already built. Yeah, it goes way too far. They try to have a snarky narrator, a la GLaDOS, and fail in every single way. Because GLaDOS is actually well written, and her insults are to the character, and it's always very clear that she's talking to the character and not to you personally. It's not personal. It never feels personal. Ada in Satisfactory, it's fucking personal. She is the voice of the developers, ranting and raving over criticisms of the game and questions asked of them during the course of the development of the game. It is supremely obvious that this is the case, and fuck them for doing that. They are petty and unprofessional children for doing that and putting that into the game. So we're not making content of that game until that gets removed, at the very least. And yeah, ideally, well after mods actually work, because yeah, that's another thing with version 1.0 of Satisfactory is the mods are broken because they updated the engine again. And when they update the engine, every single mod in the face of existence needs to be completely recompiled. And the mod manager needs to be updated as well. Because they also, in 1.0, changed the executable name, or directory that was part of it. And everyone who had the game on Steam who tried to play 1.0 when it first launched wasn't able to because they didn't change the target in Steam to the new executable file, so it would fail to launch completely. And there are still people who are having problems of the game crashing. It's a complete and utter disaster. And there are people with NVIDIA GPUs who have the most recent, drivers where it's just not working. It's a good thing I haven't updated my drivers in a while for NVIDIA, and it actually still works, because, if the drivers are working, don't fucking update them because of issues like this. Only update your drivers if you have an issue that needs to be resolved. If your game literally won't launch unless you update the drivers, or in this case, downgrade your drivers. Anyway, that's enough ranting and raving for the day. Let's play Shapez 2. Let's get into that. Let's get into this game. A much better game, in my opinion, than Satisfactory ever will hope to be. What did we do last time? What are we doing today? Well, we are waiting for the completion of Milestone 8. That is what we are currently doing. We have 4 belts of this milestone being brought in to the Vortex. It's just a matter of time for us to unlock crystals and be able to work on getting through the final qualification set of milestones and working with the crystal mechanic at the very end of the game. But we have a bit of time. We have a bit of time to play with here, and a few tasks to work on. We have a few tasks. So what was I working on? Where was I working on it? Etc. etc. We're going to be making this thing right here. The current state of it implies I had that thing at some point, but let's see. Let's go down here. Let's look at the vortex. I don't think I have... Ah, there it is. This guy. There is one belt of that guy. We need to fix that. We're going to be doing 4 belts. And where is it made? Oh yeah, we made that thing. We like finished with that thing last time. Where are you? Hello? Ah, here. This way. This space belt. La-di-da-di-da. There! Why hello. Why hello, thing. Okay, sure. This isn't a fantastic spot. To make these next pieces. Nothing like changes between these. They're just stacking new shapes on. So the question I have is why... Alright, that would explain a little bit. Alright, let me scale this. That'll give me enough. To do 4 painting lines. But I think I'm gonna modify this. To at least one of these. Painting. Make them all green. Was there rotation? Did I have rotation? Not here. Alright. Alright, that might be an issue. There we go. That will end up as 4 lines. At least it should end up as 4 lines. Hello? Oh, time. It needs to physically travel all the way down first. Yeah. Once that happens, I'll have the 4 full belts. We are done with this one. So we're now done with this particular shape. Where did I make that? Is the question. Is that this? Yes. This thing no longer needs to exist. So I can reuse this location. Whoops. I can reuse this location to build whatever shape I so desire. I would have to bring blue in if I needed anything with blue. Or cyan, or magenta, or white. Oh, an operator level. But for now, we're working down yonder. To start accruing the 4 belts of this bottom shape. This bottom shape gets brought over. Then this is the crafting of the top shape. So I can redo a lot of this. And I will. In fact, I'll need to... Looks like I am mining already all 4 lines on all of that. So what I need is this cut. And I need 4 of it. This gets added on top. Actually, it doesn't matter. What am I thinking? And I had this on bottom. All right. Autosave is autosaving. Alright. That's gonna be my 4 belts of this stuff. Should have done this the other way around, huh? Giving me extra room there. I guess that'll work. I could have done without one of these 2. Or raised this thing up more over here and then around, but whatever. is fine. Okay, that's the rotation of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These will need to be on top. Actually, I need to redo this entirely because I'm going to be throwing it on trains and not running it down this belt anymore. Alright. Doop. That goes bottom. Do I want this tighter? Because I am going to need to make this top shape in green. Probably going to do that over here. Whatevs. Better. There we go. Okay, now I need to make that top shape. It's got 3 diamond pieces and a semicircle. We've got a semicircle there, but getting 3 diamond pieces will be a little tougher because there's no full diamond nearby. Now there is that half. I did see a half diamond. That's got 3 out of the 4. If I had just 1 diamond, I could use that too. But I think I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use this. Because I'm not seeing a nearby exact match shape. This one's got 3 out of the 4, but then I would have to make a single corner diamond. Guess I could do that, especially since that's here, right? Alright, tell you what, I'll do... I will do that. Minor. They will need to be green as well. I'll mine that, and then I need to get a diamond piece. There's a diamond piece there. I don't necessarily need to do this up here. I can bring in the piece that I need. Oh yeah, and we've got research points. Is there anything specific that I need right now? Not in particular. So I think I'm just saving for now. Mining. It's a bit of a distance there, but whatever. Give me fluid miner. Do I have pipe mining? Oh. There we go. Oh boy. Actually, this is going to be one of these. Cool. You need destroyers. That is not the side I need destroyed. Neat. Stacking. And painting. Okay. Looks like all of the rotation is actually fine for this, for now. I'll probably need to rotate the last item, but is fine. Autosave. Cool. There's the shape. Now to make it green. Now, rotation-wise, as I send it up here, and I do another stacking set. Actually, I'm going to prep and have this other stacking set to another operator level. Wow. What is the rotation of this that I need? It needs to be, the circle needs to be here with these other circles, so I think it's actually correct. Yes, it is actually correct. Now that distance to get up to there, I think that's going to demand that I use a train. I'll have to put it here, unfortunately. So as long as I define the red line by having the one on the end there, I can have arbitrary placement for the rest of the locomotives. And they'll just loop the entire line. At least they should be, regardless of placement. Okay, raise this to level 2. Yes, they made a Shapez too. It's been out for a few weeks now. Just thinking about how I want to route these belts, actually. The question will then become, how do I get into here with these if I have a third tier coming in there? But I think that it's gonna need to involve leaping to some extent. So yes, welcome to Shapez in 3D. Shapes in 3 dimensions! At least represented in 3D. The shapes are, well, very similar to Shapez 1. It's very similar. They introduced this little, like, pinched, the diamond shape piece, and as far as I can tell, they completely removed the windmill shape. Primarily because they are doing some other things. It's not present in this playthrough, but they do have a hexagonal mode. So rather than working in quads, you work with hexes, and that's going to be our next scenario that we play through. That'll be interesting, working with hexes. Oh boy. Rotating things is going to have a lot more steps. Would I recommend this to someone who hasn't played the first game? Yeah, you don't have to have played Shapes 1 to play Shapes 2. You don't have to. The only thing that having and playing Shapes 1 will do is give you some experience with the basic mechanics. But they have added a few things in here that aren't in Shapes 1 that do change the calculus a bit and how you design. They've added a building called a swapper that swaps halves of each shape. I'm trying to find one somewhere. I'm not exactly certain. Here. Yes, this. This is a swapper. This is not in Shapes 1. It takes a half of each shape and it swaps them. See, it's a lot easier to change, like, swap the opposite corners of shapes in this. And they've added a couple of extra mechanics that let you make shapes that are impossible to make in Shapes 1. In particular, the pin pusher lets you have floating layers where you wouldn't be able to previously. It's just, think that this is basically like Shapes 1, just more. Just more. And, you know, fluids are fluids in this, that when Shapes 1, the colors are effectively the same as the items. It's just units of color rather than fluids. It's a lot simpler. The scale is a lot smaller. Yeah, I would say if you can play Shapes 2, just go ahead and play Shapes 2, even if you don't have 1. Then again, Shapes 1, I think, was given away for free on the Epic Game Store a while back, or it was part of an Amazon thing that gave a Epic key. I don't remember exactly which, because both could be at play. I know it was given out at some point from something, and that's how I own Shapes 1, is through Epic, but I own Shapes 2 on Steam, therefore I don't have access to all of the Shapes 1 soundtrack because I don't own Shapes 1 through Steam. Because Shapes 2 will unlock the full Shapes 1 soundtrack if you own it on the same platform. Like what's playing right now, this is like a remix of Shapes 1 music. A lot of the Shapes 2 baseline soundtrack is just remix of Shapes 1 soundtrack. Anywhoozles, still need to work. We're here. We have made this shape at this point. Oh boy, now how am I going to get this shape out from here? I need to get it out. Well, you see, I do have access to some shenanigans. Aw, that unfortunately breaks things. You know, I don't need to worry about that in this instance. What? Don't need to worry about it blocking those right now, because those are for later. And then how does this... like that. I can't enter from here. So I guess I don't need that one. So I could enter from here. Yeah! That'll do. I discovered this shenanigan a while back. It's just, it's leaping. It's leaping. It loves leaping. Alright, I need a train station. Trains! Shape loading. Said loading. Give me locomotive. With a shape wagon. I don't think I want it to be red. I think I want it to be actually a blue line. Let's see. Which lines do I have currently getting shoved in? Red and green. Yeah, I'll make this a blue line train. And it's gonna deliver all the way in to the vortex. Everything's just skipping. We're throwing stones. This is neat. It is neat that you can do this on each layer independently as well. It's like, oh, really? Just have 3 belts. 3 braided belts, essentially, all on the same layer, on the same line. And then you can have that for each of the other 2 layers too, so it's like, oh, 9 things in 1 tile? Like, wow. So glad I realized that this was a thing that you could do. Alright, I will add some more trains on the line. There we go. The blue line. Blue line's heading through. I am pretty much not gonna do all that much here going forward with these research points. I think I would like belts cutting and stacking at level 5, but painting 3 first. Hey, we are done with the milestone. Oh boy, we have unlocked crystals. The final new mechanic in the game. Ooh. That's good to know. I'm glad they have these little video previews, because that showed me something very interesting about this mechanic. They fill full gaps to empty gaps or pins of a shape to harden it with the crystal generator. So what does that do? Does it replace the pin? Does it flow underneath a floating object? That's what I would like to know, actually, is if it flows underneath a floating object. Says it fills pins, so I would imagine it would flow underneath. The other question I would have is, does it change how much fluid is used based off of how much it fills in, or is it static no matter what? Those are the two questions I need to answer right now. But we'll work through the... Okay. We'll work through the milestone piece here, which that milestone is very, very interesting. The swapper. The swapper will do it. Yeah, in fact, they make you make the two pieces. Yeah, because if you pay attention to this, that top white crystal is split into 4 and is not a contiguous circle. It is split into 4. So that milestone is actually relatively straightforward. I'll remind you that this is the hard scenario, not the insane scenario, which actually lets you have you stacking 5 high rather than 4 in total. And I would imagine requires a lot more shenanigans than this, than in hard. I don't know, for whatever reason I thought that hard might actually have something hard. Like akin to the Shapes 1 rocket. But apparently not. Apparently not. Okay, we need to make this then. But we are, in fact, done with this task, meaning I can do this red shape now. Another one that's like double diamond, double square, but that might be easier to make from the stuff that's around here, because I have this diamond square. I have this diamond square, but the thing is I need the like mirror of it. Oh, there's a full diamond right the frick there! And a square! Okay, I can make it from that. I can make it from that, and there's a red, I can do that down there. But for now, milestones. Always do the milestones first, because the final milestone shape, as you may have noticed, needs 150,000. Needs 150,000, giving us plenty of time to clear off all of the remaining tasks. Okay. With that said, for this process, I am going to need squares, and only squares. Cool. Squares and red and magenta and white. So I need red, blue, and green. I need RGB. So an area around squares with RGB. Full squares, ideally. Not thirds. There's a square. Green is a little far away, but I'll deal with it, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna deal with it. Alright. Mining. How many total squares will I need? 4. I will need 4 total squares. And the squares ultimately will be sacrificial. Yes, ultimately sacrificial, because I'm going to end up with a stacked square. Hold up. Yeah. I will end up with an uncolored square that's been stacked. So it is safe to swap crystals. It is not safe to cut crystals, though. So if the swapper tries to cut a crystal, that will break it. But if the swapper moves a crystal that is a quadrant-based thing, and it's not actually cutting the crystal, it will swap successfully. You cannot stack crystals either on top of something. They might be okay if they're the base. I need to test that, but for now, I need this times 4. There's got to be a better way. Autosave is autosaving. Whoops. I don't think it matters which is which on this. See, this just makes it shorter, though. That's not really what I need. I mean, that can go there. Yeah, and it's a shame that there's not 4 layers. That it's stuck at 2. Oh. That'll do. That compacts it a bit. It's just that, okay, now it's like this. If I rotate it this way, could I fit 4? The answer is no. By 2? 2 tiles? Two tiles. Can I lose 1 more tile of thickness in this? Is that possible? Well, yes, if I move this up here. So basically take this guy and move it up. So then it's a matter of getting these 4 belts into these 4. All right. Yeah, I think I can fit a few more things now. Huzzah. I will in fact, I'll test it first, see if it actually is giving me the thing that I need. Oh. Right. The input's there. So I have to change that to that. See? Already a change being made. Good thing I didn't save that as a blueprint first thing. Now let's see if it's functioning correctly. I'm not getting... the output previews. Why am I not getting the output previews? Ah. I've missed this input somehow. Oh. Yeah, that'll do. And that is correct. That is correct. Phew. Okay. See, this is why you test things ahead of time. So now I can grab it, and I can save it as opposite corners linear. Can't fit 8 in the thing, and it definitely does not fit in a single, like, 1x1, but, or, you know, it wouldn't easily fit in a 1x1. I think it's too long. Yeah, it's simply too long. But hey, the 2x1 you could fit 3, but not all 4. You definitely need the 2x2. Nope, there's an operator level. So that's part 1. 'Tis part 1 of many. I'll need to rotate half of these. For now, it doesn't really matter, the rotation, but it will when I later do the swapping. May as well just do it now. Maybe. Maybe not. So I need colors and crystallizing. I need, for now, red and magenta. I'll need red, magenta, and I'll need white, which needs all three. I'll need red, I'll need blue, and I'll need green. Now, where are my, like, full fluid space pipe? There we go. R, B, G. Will I need this much stuff? Not of the green. The blue, yeah. And the red. In fact, I'll need all three of the red. The entire thing. Another operator level? Alright. Alright, color mixing. Blueprints. I need... Well, I'll need white, but where is the... fluid mixing? So I'll use... that spot to make the magenta, and I'll use this. To make the white. I don't have enough room here. Is that enough room for 8? Doesn't feel like it. Plus it's going to be difficult to run all the belts. Difficulty I don't need. What am I doing? I'm not doing painting, I'm doing crystallizing, so I'll need crystallizing as a setup. Okay, you go there. Sure. You go there. Blue go there, blue go there. Green go there. Once those colors arrive, blue is now arrived. So that's going to be the magenta, and that'll be white for later. I'm not sure how much color gets used versus the painter. Okay, so it says I need 5 of these doohickeys. Really? line. Alright, let's look at this. Its max fluid consumption is 600 each? That's 3,000. That's 2 pipes. That's 2, like, minor lines. Oh! Also, I took painting upgrade 3, and that probably also impacts the crystal generator. Wow. Yeah, it says it's 5 buildings per full belt. With equal upgrades, it needs 6? So if I do the next speed upgrade, it's going to need a 6th? Why do those numbers have to be so terrible? Well, for now, I know, because I'm going to build with the final ratio in mind, which is apparently 6 to 1. But now I know that it's also going to be 2 to 1 in the end. Oh, this also was upgraded with painting, wasn't it? So that's giving 1,800, but it's still going to be 2 to 1 in the end. So that significantly messes things up a bit, because rather than needing 1 of these for white, I'm going to need 2. And rather than needing 1 on the magenta, I'm going to need 2. And this is going to require me to cut that and shift it back a fair bit. God, and I'll need another space pipe input, at the very least for red, if not also blue. I'm gonna reroute blue. I'm also going to need more blue. I will not need more green. That will cover green. The issue is that I need 2 blues, 2 more blues, and I need 2 more reds in total. Eh. Guess I could reroute that way. With the reds, I have to do another minor setup. On the red and on the blue. What? Come on. Bah, I don't want that, actually. It'll fix itself as we go along. Yeah, see, it's just gonna drain out and replace with blue. Another... Ah. There we go. Operator 30. So now I need... that guy brought in, and the reds. There. Fun part. Now I have to get all of the white and the magenta moved like here or here. And I get to bring this red up there. So I guess I'll do the white. There. And I'll do the magentas. Here. Nice. Not so nice. Right, I'm gonna need another line. Jeez, everything is doubled. So the question is, can I fit 2 of this? Yes. Whew. Okay. I'm still gonna need, like, more room to build things. But this white isn't gonna be coming in, or it isn't gonna be used for a bit. Alright, layer 2 is the input, layer 1 is the output, and I can technically run the lines whichever direction I wish. Looks a smidge more complicated than Factorio at this point. Not really. Base game Factorio, I mean, I would imagine that if Factorio worked in a similar way to this, that this is exactly how Factorio would look. If it had 3 layers to build upon, I would imagine that this is exactly how it would look. But frankly, I would make a comparison more to Dyson Sphere program than to Factorio, because they have different building mechanics. I would say the other 3D environment automation games is a better comparison. And specifically Dyson Sphere, I think, is the closest mechanically, though Dyson Sphere is built on, spheres. It's still fundamentally a grid-based building system, despite being spheres. On spheres. They've got stitching offsets for that mechanic as well, but yeah, this is a lot closer. Of course, Dyson Sphere, you can build far more layers of belts, and all of the buildings, I think in Dyson Sphere, all of your buildings need to be built on the ground, and there are some buildings you can stack on top of each other. Of course, with this, you can have free floating buildings. That is a difference here, is that this can have free floating buildings on the layers that you are allowed to build on, but not in DSP. But conceptually similar. Not the same, though. This definitely feels like you can build a lot more compactly. This feels like a very efficient use of space, doesn't it? This feels like it's a very efficient use of space. It's efficient. Spatially efficient. And why have I built spatially efficiently? Because I wanted to, not because the game forced me to. The platform unit limitation is not that big of a hindrance. This is unlike Satisfactory, which literally berates you for even contemplating that their blueprint system's space limitations could be improved dramatically. Does the color throughput limit impact the production rate? It depends on what you're referring to for production rate, because what I need for this particular build with this crystallizer mechanic is I need to have 6 times 600. I need 3600 in a pipeline. Max. Pipeline is 7200 max liters per minute. Which happens to be 2 times 7200, so I have 2 pipelines in. That should equal 7200 actually. Each. Actually, I'm trying to think about that. Hold up. 18, 18, 18, 18. Yeah, that is 72. That is exactly 7200. Yeah, so a pipeline can feed 2 of the rows. This notably consumes twice as much fluid as painting. So the process of painting a line, so with equal upgrades, it would be 4 times 450, which is 1,800 liters per minute, which is half of the 3,600. Oh, 50 research points. I could pick up one of the belt cutting or stacking upgrades at this point. Let's go ahead and do that. So now the belts are 180. Alright, now I need to get these 4. Brought in. The pipes don't really matter where I bring them in. Yep, the belts just upgrade all, and they're all the same. Oh, come on. There we go. That's better. So that is the first task shape. You can see as it works here, it's filling in the gaps of the shape with this crystallized fluid. So this was just my initial, like, first time building it layout. I decided to go with the linear option just because of how this was designed. It follows very similarly to my linear painting setup, with the exception that with the painting, while they have a similar style here, where you have the tank and the belt, this is taller. This is taller, so I can't just stack. I can't just stack 2 of these directly on top of each other, which kind of sucks. Yeah, and items just disappear. They void if you destroy the belt. There's no, like, inventory in this game. There's no inventory, all the buildings are free to build, etc., etc. Okay, so that's that one. I then need to do the magenta one, which is what the game calls it. The game calls it magenta, so I will use the terminology that the game uses. And I guess I should save Whoops. So this is crystals linear. I'm sure there's better, more compact builds than this that make use of all 3 layers, but I really just don't wanna. Well, if it's 6, it may be more feasible to have this form of a layout. This is probably okay as a more compact layout than this. Maybe I need an extra space there, but it will look a bit funky. I just went with this because it was easy, but yeah, there's I'm sure more compact ways of doing it. Okay, I need these 4 belts here. Yes, I'm gonna jump. We're gonna go leaping. This game also has a system similar to Factorio, by the way, of belt braiding through its jumper system, which I am going to constantly call out to the end of time because it's so amazing that you can do it this way. It wasn't here that I built it, it was over here. Was it this guy? No, it was the stuff up here. Yeah, this thing. Our stone skipping setup, where we have 3 belts running on the same line, on the same exact layer height. Because you can just do that. Da-da, da-da. Like, infinitely. You can infinitely scroll that. Now, you need to have, like, outside input, and you'll be having outputs off the side as well. So the inputs and outputs are from the sides, but you can run, technically you can run 3 belts on the same line if you need to, across 3 layer heights. This is perfectly valid. This is valid. Just 9 belts on the same linear stretch of 1 tile stretch. Very similar to Factorio with that. Alright, back down here. Get these guys all going. That makes the other milestone shape. I will not need those, so let's get our trains. Yep, that's the way. Another operator level. We're in the top 23%. We'll make this a white line. And it needs to go to the vortex. That leads to the vortex line. So now we have all 4 lines from this input going to the vortex. But I can remove at least one of them, or at least change one of them. I can do more stuff over here because I don't need this shape anymore. This is done at this point. So my green line can be replaced with some other task. But our white shape down here is for milestones. Not there. There. Yeah, our white line. Okay. Whoops. Come on. Thank you, autosave, for autosaving. I'm gonna try to sync this up so that these milestones will pop at the exact same time. Oops. One more. Yeah, it's a good game. There's a reason why I'm playing this. I like this game. It's a much better game than Satisfactory, I'll tell you that much for certain. If you weren't here for the very beginning, oh boy. Yeah, I have concluded that I just fundamentally hate Satisfactory at this point. The devs using the narrator to vent petty frustrations about the player, about complaints about the game just in general, and questions about the game in general is just not okay. Oh right, there's this multiple layers, but not multiple wagons, so I don't need to worry so much about that. What I do know is that in the end, I will only have one belt line out. Okay. Yeah, I spotted at least 2 in the narration that I have listened to. Instances where they have berated players using the narrator when it's clearly self-insert complaints from the devs. straight up insults from the devs, really, to the player and not to the character itself. If it was for the character, and it was very obvious that it was to the character, that would be one thing. That's what's special about GLaDOS, is that all of her insults, it's not really to you, it's to the character, and that's what makes it funny, because there's a very clear distinction between what's being said to the character versus you. But in this case, with Satisfactory, with the things that they brought up, it is obvious the devs venting. Where they're like, oh, any complaints about the size of the blueprinter shows your own inadequacies. Your own inefficiencies is how they put it. It reveals your own inefficiencies. Like, shut the fuck up. This is a game that has infinite build space. Fuck you for saying that. Complaints of the blueprinter are not really about the size. Frankly, the blueprinter is fucking huge, even at Mark 1. It's a 4x4. It's a 4x4 foundation set by 4 high. It's fucking huge. That's not the point of the complaints. The point of the complaints is we want to fucking copy what we built already, not rebuild from scratch within this arbitrary limitation when the game itself is infinite. Anyway. Weird. Oh, this is belt speed, because I don't have all of the upgrades yet. Oh, you mean Shapez? Yeah, my point being, you know, oh look, I can actually copy this entire foundation and place this entire foundation down with all its stuff on it instantly. That particular thing is the most egregious and made me immediately mute dialogue in Satisfactory. I muted the dialogue and I completely turned off all of the narrative messages. They have a little setting to turn off narrative messages. I turned that off and I turned off muted dialogue. So I get nothing now. Because I'm not here to be berated while trying to play your fucking game. They also had a they had a comment about people who have questioned the portable miner about being able to hook up a belt to the portable miner. They call such people effectively idiots. Saying that they have other uses for such pioneers. They say, oh, it's obvious that this is not the case, and we have other uses for such pioneers if you think that this is the case. Which, yes, it's obvious. Yeah, people shouldn't expect that the portable miner doesn't have the ability to output onto belts. You don't fucking insult your players when you say this. You can make that point without insulting your players. You can make the point that the blueprints have a size limitation and that you want people to work within this size limitation without berating your players, without insulting your players. You can make this point without insults. Why would you be offended by that? Because it's insulting. It's not funny. It is not funny. It is insulting. It is not a joke. It is an insult. And it is not an in joke. It is an insult when they bring this up. And those specific lines, most often the final lines of the interaction, need to be completely removed from the game. Why the yellow exclamation marks? Because I no longer need this. The yellow exclamation marks are inputs that I am now going to be using in this build. Because I need to, for this task, put this red shape. We need to make this red shape and stack it on top. So now we can get rid of those. And I need to import. I need to make and import this other shape. And it looks like I had planned on doing it on the red line here. Maybe. I don't really have much choice in the matter. Let's see if I can remember to shove it in on layer 3. If it was just that one thing, that one time on the portable miners, I probably wouldn't be that upset about it. But then they honed in immensely with the blueprints, and it's like, okay, this is a pattern that is going to be repeated. Even if it's not, it feels like it's going to be repeated multiple times. And I'm not going to listen to that anymore. It actively detracts from my experience of the game, and so I'm not going to bother with it. Anyway, let's get this thing, this top shape. It needs to be red, 2 squares, 2 diamonds, opposite cornered. What can I use for this? I said I was going to do it here, right? Yeah. You just found it? Are there videos on the channel to catch you up? On my YouTube channel, I have all of the VODs. They are in the live section, because I simultaneously stream to both platforms, Twitch and YouTube. Whoops. And the entire series is there. As well as all of my Shapes 1 stuff and lots of other things. Including previous attempted playthroughs of Satisfactory. Oh boy. Yeah. Not gonna be doing that again. Surprised that that actually fits fully. Then paint it. Oh, wait. Fluid mining is the full platform. Alright, that's the red shape. What is the orientation? I think it needs to be rotated by 90 degrees. Yep, load that. Train stop. Then I have to bring this over there. And I need to assign it to the red line by just adding one train onto the line. Now, all of the trains that are on the line are going to follow the full red line, even though I've just added this one train here. Oh, right. I didn't use my, like, full mining blueprint. Okay, now I hope that rotation is correct. I believe it should be. So now I have to get all of these belts out. Great. Whoops. That's better. So over time, that will complete all on its own. At least it had better. It had darn well better. Oh, another operator level. Alright, so the milestone here is almost finished. Oh, another operator level, thanks. There we go, shape goals have been completed. Oh boy. Oh boy. Next on the list. Let me think about this a second. Brain. Oh yeah, that is totally 8 squares. Huh. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, I answered that. All of the VODs are stored permanently on YouTube. Though I will note that with this series in particular, there is one stream a couple of streams ago, I think, where I had to mute a minute because of a false content ID match that I didn't feel like disputing. And the system wouldn't let me remove the background music for whatever reason, because of like the type of ID match it was. It was really weird. Really, really weird. Oh hey, that task is working. Okay, I need to see if... I'm probably not allowed to do this, am I? Because I may need to do the stacking... Well, no, I can't do the stacking first. I have to do the stacking second. So this should ideally teach me... I to clear the belts. That we should be able to stack stuff on top of crystals, just as long as the crystals don't drop. Should be fine, just as long as the crystals don't drop. I probably need better spacing than this. I'll try to work with it. But I want to test. I need the bottom left. Alright, actually, I'm gonna reroute that way. Alright, I want to test this. It is showing the correct shape, so it looks like you are allowed to stack on top of a crystal. Thing is, though, what this doesn't tell me is if I can drop something directly on top of a crystal. So I'm actually going to purposefully clean that, and I can see that the answer is yes. You are also allowed to do that. So that is wonderful. That is actually wonderful. Now, I'm actually going to trim that because I'll use that to go to like layer 3, I think. And that means I can actually move this all the way up to there. Make things quite a bit easier. In fact, I'm going to move that a tile as well. Oh hey, that task is done, so I no longer need to use that rail line. Now the next thing I'll do is this set of tasks. Then we will only end the series once all tasks are complete. This is sort of gonna mess up a bit how I bring in the things, but I guess I can jump. Whoops, that's the wrong way. Oh, that's not doable. Alright. That will have to work. Without question. Alright. Then, gotta get everything jumped over and into here. And I gotta get white into here. Yeah, if you thought I was going that way with these, you would be wrong. This is actually more of a issue. Right, I need to run these other... Like, oh, the belts are not run yet. Oof. Okay. Hmm? Oh. Oh, alright. White. Need to run both of these pipes. Alright. So I have both of these on layer 3. I'll need to downshift at least to layer 2. Oh, right. Four belts. 4 belts. 4 belts. 4 belts. 4 belts. Alright, well, at least for this 12K, only gonna have 2 of each of these milestone pieces. Now, for the final milestone piece, these will swap into the same item that will have 4 belts of output. The final milestone will have 4 belts of output. Which means I've totally overbuilt this for the final output of 4. I could bring in more white. I would have to make another white. No, I wanted to actually copy the thing. I could make more white. In fact, I'm going to that is not okay. That's the rotation I want. I don't really need all the magenta, though. Now, I'm going to shove out what I've got for now. Now, I had the purples on layer 2. Those will replace the things, and we are good now. Phew. $12,000 is going to take forever with just 2 belts each. especially when it's running at not the full. I think it's 150 each. Yeah, that's 40 minutes. 40 minutes all on its own. So that's why I'm gonna think about doing this. This will require more green, more blue, and of course, more red. More green. Getting close to the amount to get the next upgrade up here. Stacking or cutting. Okay, now which color is which? Does it even particularly matter? Why did I have to have the blue twice? Because the first one here, which I think is this input, was for the magenta, and I don't need magenta. Wonderful. I made it so that my green will be blocked. Alright, well, I'm gonna delete that then. Delete that input and reroute from you. Wait, why do you only have one? That'll do. Alright, then it doesn't matter which is green and which is red. Another operator level. That'll do it. Alright, then I have to get those other belts in here. Or change it up so that it's one each. Yeah, we'll change it so that it's one each. That means I'll have to change the output as well. Just hitting I will clear the belts. Okay, then I will have to adjust these here and where they go down. Because now I'm going to be operating on layer 2, not with pipes. Frick. Great. Oh, even better. I have to make lots of adjustments. There's Dolly behind me. There's the kitty. There's a Dolly. Yeah. There's the pretty girl. Meow. Oh, now she wants to be on top. Okay, now she wants to be up top, huh? And onto the desk. And onto the desk with the Dolly cat. Hello. Hello, baby Dolly. F to flip that way. Alright. Figured there was a thing to make that easier, but oh well. Muscle memory will take a very long time to change. Yes, baby. Okay, I need to output this on there too. Oh yeah, circles. Circling. And plopping. How have I been? Okay, now that I'm playing an actual good game. Been alright. I say that, and yet more likely than not, after the stream, I will most likely just play more Satisfactory, just without the audio. Try to force my way through. just on my own time. If anything about the later phases are even remotely redeeming. Because apparently the stuff you can do with the alien stuff is decent, is pretty good, but you have to get there. I will not be covering the Factorio expansion. I will not be making content of Factorio going forward, let alone the expansion. You can review my Discord announcements as to what would make that happen, but yeah, I'm done with that game. Alright, we are also done with this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, now I'm done. 8,000 hours, and I'm done with it. Pretty much. I no longer had fun with the game. Alright. Well, what am I going to change? I guess this up here. I no longer need any of this stuff. So I'm going to use it to make this task. That means... oh boy, that means bringing in... blue that I haven't brought in yet. Okay, can I, like... yes. Yes, I can. Alright. I'll bring blue there, then. Oh, Dolly's leaving me. So sad she's left. She came, got some pets, now she's gone. That is Dolly. It has been very nice overall for me, actually. I have had significantly more fun by not playing Factorio. Because as I've put it before, I was having a bad time with the game for so long that the average experience of the game over time for me dipped to negative. And I'm done with it then. At that point, just I had to wipe my hands of it. I'm done. So this thing, over time, that's circles. That's diamonds, circles, diamonds, circles, diamonds, circles. Just diamonds and circles. So just diamonds and circles. And stars, of course. the star piece there. So stars and diamonds for now. Okay, I will do this as swap. And paint. Swap, I could cut and then paint. Actually, I don't need to cut, but yes, I do need to cut. What am I thinking? I need to stack. Stack first. I'm just thinking about the later shapes, because that's not pinned. That part's not pinned. Meaning that I have to combine the half blue with the half gray. Oh, there's our cutting research. So I'm trying to think a little bit ahead and do it, like, try to make this shape using the process that will be required for the, like, final version of that layer, you know? So the final version of layer 2 is going to require this gray piece. Now, the half star, I can paint a star blue, actually paint 2 stars blue, and that's that. Cut it in half and then stack the stuff on top of it. That's the easy part. So I think I'm not gonna be doing that there. Question is, okay, I think I have an idea of what I want to do with this. So I'm going to take this blue in, and I'm going to use this to paint 2 diamonds and 2 stars. I don't actually need that third belt of the stars. I'm gonna paint the whole thing. Blue. And for now, I will stack them. So that goes on the bottom, that goes on the bottom, that goes on the top, and that goes on the top. Right. For now, I cut. The what? I just need to flip these. Huh? Clean that up a bit. So now I have 4 belts of the intended current task. Just in case, I'm gonna reroute these. Another level. Okay. That's better. Alright, that's 4 belts of that. It'll replace that input. So, I left the other 2 here free. And what I will do is... I should move this. I have... this. I will need 2 of this. I will need just the 1 of this. I will need just the 1. Right, because I'll have to redo this. I won't be able to do it this way. And then cut. I'll have to redo everything. Yeah, I'll just redo it when I get to that point. The next step actually requires stacked circles. Very, very similar, but with 2 blue circles and 2 white circles that are just going to be cut in half. Not white, but gray. Gray circles that will be cut in half. And then make that bottom thing itself and stack it on top. From more stars and more diamonds. Great. But ding. Alright, one of those finished. I have to wait for the other one to finish. Really? I didn't have the one that's the consistent rotation version. Oh well. So those are the shapes I'll need for the next level. I'll need to cut it in. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I need to stack them, not swap them. Sigh. Always dumb. What do I need stacked? Blue on top of white? Great. Bah. Wonderful. Of course it's blue on top of gray. And then cutting. This shape is not pinned. That the problem, there is no pin under here. There is a physical pin if you use pinning. And the shape requires no pins. In fact, this particular task is given to you before you have access to the pinning mechanic. But as soon as I finish the main milestone, I'm going to go and do that rather than keep working on this particular task. Because that's the final main milestone in the game. Yeah. We're gonna do that. So in our remaining time for the stream, I have to remember where I did this for one. Was it here? Yeah, here. All right. So I'm actually going to end up with 8 belts. No, I'm going to end up with 4 belts. I'm going to end up with 4 belts of intended output and 4 belts of trash. That's the way it's going to go. And it's going to be in here, I suppose. Another operator level. So this is swapper time. Opposite corners, linear. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh? No, this isn't the swapping. This isn't swapping. Right, that's done. Where is my opposite corner swapper? Yes. Do I need an opposite corner swapper? Right, because I'm undoing an opposite corner, which means basically doing the exact same thing twice. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, 4. Because I need the output belts. Oh, right, this is 2 thingies. Oh, right, aren't they going to be mixed? Rotation doesn't matter. Well, I'll have to figure this out. All the rotations out. Yeah, it's every other. Great. I don't really need to do that final rotation, but that's it. Realistically speaking, I guess I can just do that. And then uppies. I don't need that last rotator, but whatevs. Is good. Is fine, just the way it is. Oh, right. Preparation is fantastic now, isn't it? It's always nice to being fully prepared for what's to come. There, I finally used the hotkey. In practice. I finally remembered. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, you can pin the next task on the left so that you can see what's to come down that chain. You just have to know that it's all the same on the line. That it's the one, then the next, then the next. I mean, for the final task, or the final milestone of the game, for the final milestone piece, it's definitely, I think that this is the largest factory. This is definitely the largest. It definitely has the most fluid input. It is the most fluid input of anything else prior to this. I think it's okay. It is most definitely not a rocket from Shapez 1. And the great thing is, the developers literally told you how to make it in the like tutorialization for this shape. They legit told you how it's made. So it's at least got that going for it. Because they say that swapping is safe as long as you are not breaking a shape through the cut. Because we are not breaking any shape through this cut. This set of milestones, I think, really serves just to show and teach the mechanic rather than anything else. So I wish there was one more set of milestones after this that make use of everything. I mean, I guess that's the tasks. That's the sort of the point of the tasks, but because here, gosh, this thing doesn't even use pins. This uses pins, so this one will use all of the mechanics. This one uses pins. Which answers my question. That actually answered my question of what happens exactly with pins. It stacks it on top of the pins. This thing, by the way, is actually pretty insane. This may be like one of the most difficult of the shapes to make. I mean, with this, you make the first 3 layers and then you crystallize purple on top. Actually, that's all segmented. That's segmented. Yo. Are they always segmented like that? Is it actually just always segmented? Oh. Oh, so they can always swap. Eh? Well, it says crystallizing fill the empty spaces, but it says it works with pins. So I guess I'll have to test it, because my thought was, what happens with pins? Do you end up with a shape with a... does it remove the pin, or does it only always just go on top of the pin? Because this would seem to indicate that crystallizing with pins puts the crystal on top of the pin. It says pins get replaced by crystals, but you can't stack it on a pin. You can't stack a crystal on a pin. I guess you have to pin the crystal? I guess you can pin the crystal. Shove the pin under the crystal, then. Oy. Well, anyway. We have reached the end of the stream for the day. We have completed all of the milestones, actually, for level 9, which, in one stream, which was very fast. This was one of the fastest of the milestones. One of. Still. It's a unique mechanic. I'm glad it exists. Very glad that it exists. We have tasks to go through while we wait for 150,000. Man time? No. I will not be making a make anything machine until like a more difficult scenario. My intention is that I don't want to really touch the logic system until we have a scenario that it's actually worth doing it on, such as either insane or hexes. My next playthrough will be hexes, so that would be the time I think we would make our machine that makes anything. Because then you have to plan out the machine to make hexagonal objects rather than just quads. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. And then the one with insane, the key with the insane difficulty is that it has 5 layers rather than 4. Which adds significantly more permutations to plan around. I'm not sure if the hexagonal defaults to 5 or 4 layers. I'll have to check that at some point. But for now, in fact, I think I can check that now. If I go back to menu, I just want to see if it tells me the scenarios. So, hexagonal scenario versus insane. I have to, like, go to custom? game rules. No full cutter? Huh. Only use the vent stacker. No alternate rotators. Really? Wow, you can actually determine what types of colors spawn too. And the patch sizes. And the shape types. Wow. But this doesn't let me change, like, layers. How many layers things are. Or tell me how many layers things are. So it'll be determined by the scenario. Which is unfortunate that it doesn't just tell you, like, hey, insane is 5 layers, hexagonal is 4 or 5. I don't know. I don't know. Like, no, I can't tell with any of these preview shapes whether any of it is like 5 layers. I think a couple of these previews up here are 5. I think all of these are 5 layers actually, but I can't really tell. It looks like it's 4 to me. It looks like 4 on Hex, but we're doing Hex next once we finish all the tasks. So we have to go through the process of finishing the tasks. That'll be what we do next time. We'll be continuing our work on tasks, and all of our focus will be on tasks going forward until we get through all of the tasks of this hard scenario. And I'll probably, like, when I'm done with that and that finishes, like, end that stream, and the next one will begin the next scenario. It'll be like a new series. But anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Show, and if you've enjoyed the stream and are watching the VOD, do all the social stuff below the video. I will be back on Tuesday. I hope to see you all then.